Tundra Violet is one of my favorite colors Schmincke has released for their super granulating line. This color is absolutely stunning. It can read as a very interesting black color with its blue and purple undertones, but when it granulates out, you get these beautiful swirls of blue and brown. I absolutely love this color, and it is super easy to recreate on your own. So we are going to talk about how you can mix it yourself. But let's first go over the pigments that make up this color. They use PB29 and pigment PBR6. What are those colors? Well, they are Ultramarine Blue and Mars Brown. Mars Brown is a synthetic iron oxide, and we're going to touch back on that in a minute. But you can see here on the tubes of paint where they have their pigment information listed. Knowing what colors make up a pigment is a really good starting place, but it doesn't tell the full story because you can have tubes of paint with the same pigment information, but the paints behave very differently. Case in point, Ultramarine Blue. Both of these paints are made from pigment PB29, but both have very different personalities. The French Ultramarine Blue granulates quite a bit more and leans slightly more red on the color wheel. So it's going to behave differently in a super granulating mix than a traditional Ultramarine Blue. So we are going to test out these two blues and see how they behave to see if it will make a difference in our end result. Our other pigment is Mars Brown, or our PBR6, and this is a synthetic iron oxide, and it's not commonly found in a lot of artist palettes. So I wanted to see if we could find a suitable substitution for this color, and my brain went to natural or organic iron oxide pigments like burnt umber and burnt sienna. Burnt umber, mine granulates a little bit more than my burnt sienna from M Graham, and it leans slightly more cool on the color wheel than the burnt sienna does. Burnt sienna has a little bit more of an orange undertone. So we're going to compare both versions and see which one gets us the closest to our Mars Brown. Then I wanted to throw in a wild card and test out Indian red. This is a granulating red, but it's kind of close to brown on the color wheel. So I wanted to see how that would work or if it would work good in a mix. So we're going to test out those three browns. But first up, we need to swatch our Tundra Violet. I'm just swatching this straight from the tube on a cotton rough press paper. I am not a purist by any means, saying that you have to swatch on your nicest paper. Some artists get really fanatical about it. Yes, there are going to be differences in how your pigment looks based on the paper you're using, but it's just a swatch. It doesn't need to be on artist paper. That is an absolute waste of money, in my opinion. So I tend to swatch mostly on Canson XL paper, but when I'm doing these super granulating mixes and comparisons, I tend to swatch on this cotton rough press paper from Schmincke. It's inexpensive and it allows for a lot of pigment separation to happen so we can really see how that pigment is behaving. So here is our control swatch using the Tundra Violet straight from the tube, and we can see those swirls of blues and browns. And now let's go into mixing this color on our own. To start with, we are going to be recreating this color using the exact same pigments that are listed on the tube of paint. So we're going to be using pigment PB29 and pigment PBR6. Our first example is with our French Ultramarine Blue. And this is the more granulating blue, and it's going to give us a lot more texture and granulation. Ultramarine Blue, if it's made from PB29, it is always going to be a granulating color. But some artists don't love lots of granulation, and so they want a more finely milled version to try and reduce the amount of granulation that can happen. So really what type of ultramarine blue you choose can really vary depending on the brand. But in general, if it says French Ultramarine Blue, it's going to granulate more than a traditional ultramarine blue. So here is that swatch completely dry, and we can see that beautiful granulation that has occurred. We can see the swirls of the blues and the browns, and in mass tone, it reads almost as a blue-black. Now this might have some variation compared to the Schmincke one because of mixing error. I might have put a little too much brown or a little too much blue. So there's some variation that can happen from me mixing these, but very, very, very similar. So now let's switch over to the M Graham Ultramarine Blue. This is our traditional one that leans slightly more green on the color wheel and is more finely milled. And we are going to see how this version behaves with our Mars Brown. And we can already see this has a lot finer of a pigment separation occurring on that initial swatch. It's not as textured as the other one. And we're not getting as much pigment separation. This one is a lot more uniform. This is a big reason why I started doing this recreation series, because I'd heard so many artists say, just mix it on your own, look at the pigment information, and then use those same pigments and you can recreate that color really easily. Well, I would try and I would get very different results than what the convenience mix was showing us, whether it was a super granulating one or not. And that's because you can have variation within a pigment. So same pigments between these two swatches, but very, very different personalities with them. One is very uniform and the other one is very textured and multicolored. Now that we have our blues figured out, let's see if we can figure out a suitable substitution for our Mars Brown, because Mars Brown isn't very common. So let's see if there's colors more commonly found on our palette that will work. So first up is our Burnt Sienna. This is a PBR 7 pigment. It's an iron oxide. This one tends to lean a little bit more orange on the color wheel. And this is actually a mix used all the time in watercolor. Many, many artists use Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Sienna together because they create such beautiful and interesting grays. The orange undertones in the Burnt Sienna neutralize when mixed with the blue, and that's why you get these gray undertones with it. And you can see it's granulating out. There is going to be some variation on how much it granulates depending on how granulating your Ultramarine Blue is and your Burnt Sienna. So here is that swatch completely dry, and for a first attempt, I feel like this got really, really close. We got that beautiful granulation happening, but I felt like it was slightly too orange, so I wanted to see what would happen if we tried the Burnt Umber. Now remember, Burnt Umber is made with the same pigment as our Burnt Sienna, but it's slightly cooler in undertone. So I wanted to see if this might work a little bit better, but very quickly as I was watching this granulate out on the paper, I noticed the Burnt Umber was a little too yellow, if that makes sense. It had too much of a yellow hue or cast to it when it was diluted out. So we still got a similar granulation texture with it, but it didn't read as a violet, where the Tundra Violet, it's not a strong violet, but there is a little bit more rosiness to it, and this wasn't quite there. So it was back to the drawing board to figure out which one was going to get us the closest to our mix. Because I was feeling extra swatchy this day, I decided to test out what would happen if we mixed the Burnt Sienna and the Burnt Umber together. I was just curious to see, especially because my Burnt Umber in this comparison was more granulating than the Burnt Sienna. So I wanted to see if I could lean in on the more granulating aspect of the Burnt Umber, but have the warm tones of the Burnt Sienna, if that would get us closer to the end result. And it is a beautiful mix, and it's not crazy far off, but I wouldn't say it's worth the effort. It's not worth trying to mix 3 colors together to get a result that isn't any closer than the other ones. And that's the balance I'm always trying to find in these recreation videos. Whether it's recreating these paints pigment for pigment or trying to find suitable substitutions, if I have to add one extra color in to substitute and recreate it, then that is great. But if I have to start mixing 5 or 6 colors, the odds of success are lower and it's just not going to be quite right. So that is the balance I'm always trying to find. So now I'm swatching out our Indian Red, our PR 101. And I knew right off the bat that this was going to be too red. It is a red pigment. And this made a really true violet that is really beautiful and very granulating. And I really like this mix, but I knew it was going to be too red and not have enough gray to the mix. But I was optimistic that if I mixed this with the Burnt Sienna or the Burnt Umber, we might actually get a closer recreation. So what I decided to do was mix this with our Burnt Sienna. Our Burnt Sienna was really close anyways, so I just added a tiny, tiny bit of the Indian Red. Indian Red is an opaque pigment and it's really strong, so I didn't want to add too much of it to this mix, but adding just a little bit helps push this Burnt Sienna from being orange to a little bit more red, and that helped give us more of that kind of rosy undertone that we were seeing with the Schmincke Tundra Violet. Now, there is going to be some variation again because of mixing error and how much water I added to these swatches, so we'll have to keep that in mind. But this was really, really a close mix, and I was really excited with how this one was turning out. So now let's compare all of our swatches. So these were my least favorite. You can see the Indian red just created too much of a true violet, didn't have enough gray or brown in the mix. Then it went our M Graham PB29 mix. This was just too uniform, not enough granulation, and went too true gray. So I didn't really like those ones. Next up are our swatches using the burnt umber. Burnt umber was all right, and if it's the only brown you have, I would recommend using it and then trying to add some kind of red like the Indian red. But if you can, I would choose burnt sienna over the burnt umber. The mix where I did the burnt umber and the burnt sienna was better than the burnt umber on its own. You got that pigment separation, but burnt umber on its own just wasn't quite rosy enough. So that was my least favorite of the PBR7 mixes. Now let's move into my favorite substitutions for the Mars Brown. And the runner-up is burnt sienna. Burnt sienna on its own got us fairly close, especially if you were going to use a more granulating one. But my absolute favorite was the burnt sienna and the Indian red mix. This just got us closer to the mark. I like that slightly more rosy undertone that it had. So this is just a personal preference. If you want to keep it simple, use the burnt sienna. If you want to make it slightly more complex, then use the burnt sienna with a touch of that Indian red, and you will get a really close approximation to that Tundra Violet. And then obviously, if you just recreate this using the exact same pigments, the French Ultramarine Blue and the Mars Brown, you are going to get the most accurate recreation. So those are kind of my favorites in recreating this mix. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them down below and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you want to see more mixing videos, I have an entire playlist where I recreate all different kinds of colors. So be sure to check that out. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and I will see you next time. Bye.